Hi, kindergarten. It's Mrs. Merritt. Today we're going to do Module 3, Lesson 26. Our objective is I will match and count to compare two sets of objects, and we're going to figure out which one's less today. I've been switching back and forth a lot with the more and less. Today we're going to figure out which one is less. So we are going to keep counting higher than 10. So we're going to do our say 10 push-ups, and we're going to start with 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, 4, 10, 5, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 9, and 10, 10. Good job. Right into our application problem. You guys are rocking it already. You are ready to move today. So we are going to draw how many people are sitting at your table. Now, normally we do this in school. So let's say there are 2 boys and 2 girls, okay? Let's draw them in a row. So I'm going to have 1, 2 boys, and then I'm going to have 2 girls, okay? Now, we are going to make sure everyone gets 1 pencil, okay? 1, 2, 3. Hey, are there more pencils or more people? We have the same amount of pencils as we do people. Very good. So there's not more in this problem. They're trying to trick us because they know today we're going to start figuring out which group has more. But they can't trick us because we realize each person has a pencil, so we have the same number of pencils as we do people. Great job. Okay, so we are back to our shapes. I chose to put the circles in one row and the squares in another row. Okay? Does it matter which shape is bigger when I'm matching them? No, because I'm going to draw a line to match them to see which group has more. We've learned that. So, let's figure out which group has more. Let's draw our lines. Square to circle, 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 square. There are no squares left. So what does that mean? Do I have more circles or more squares? I have more circles because, look at, I don't have squares to match those circles, right? So I have more circles. Just to check our work, let's count our circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 circles. I'm going to write a 10 down here. And how many squares do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great job. So which shape do we have less of? Do we have less circles or squares? We have less squares, okay? So that tells us that 8 is less than 10. I formed my number sentence this way. We counted how many of each we had, right? And then I looked and I said, which group has less? I looked, And I realized I had more circles than I did squares, so I said, well, we have less squares. So I started with this number. 8 is less than 10. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing we did, but with hexagons and squares this time. So we're going to sort the hexagons into one tower and the squares into another tower. Grab all my hexagons and squares. Oh, I tried to grab a circle to bring over. Great. Did I grab everything? Okay. Let's see which group has less. Because then we're going to write our sentence about that like we did with our other shapes. Okay? So squared hexagon, squared hexagon, squared hexagon, squared hexagon. Square. But there's no hexagon up here. So I can already tell just by that which group has less. What shape do I have fewer of? I have fewer hexagons because I don't have a hexagon to match the square. So I have fewer hexagons. But in order to form our number sentence, let's count our hexagons and squares. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hexagons. And how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what shape did we say we have less of or fewer of? We said we had fewer hexagons. So how could we put this into a sentence with using our numbers and the word less? How could we put that in a sentence? Seven, you always start with the lower number when you're talking about less. 7 is less than 8. Awesome job. Okay, we are going to do one more. I'm going to set it up for you, but then I'm going to have you do it and pause me because you're going to think about your number sentence and then, or your number statement, I'm sorry. You're going to think about that and then we're going to come back and we're going to work through it together, okay? All right, so now we want to figure out if there are more rectangles or more circles. I'm going to put the rectangles like this. Did we grab all the rectangles? I think so. And then I'm going to put the circles like this. Wow, there are so many different shapes here. I just want to make sure we got all our circles and our rectangles. Yep, it looks like we did. So I want you to pause me and I want you to think about which group has less. And then figure out how many of each you have. And then I want you to create a number statement about it. So blank is less than blank. Go ahead. Okay, so I cannot wait to hear what you guys got. Let's start going through this together, okay? So I'm going to do a rectangle down to my first circle. Oh, that went a little too far. So now I have them matched. What's my next step? I'm going to count how many rectangles and circles I have. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles. And how many circles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have 10 circles. So what statement did you get? Did you get 5 is less than 10? Or did you say 10 is less than 5? If you said 5 is less than 10, you are correct. Look at, I have more circles and I have less rectangles. So you always start with the lower number. So 5 is less than 10. And you can even check it on your fingers. If I have 5 here, I have to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to add 5 more to get to 10. So 5 definitely is less than 10. You guys did an awesome job with comparing two sets and figuring out which one is less. Today for your exit ticket, you're going to look at groups of objects and figure out which group has less, and it may even ask you what the correct number statement would be. So for example, if this was a problem, it could show you this picture, and then it could say, would the number statement be 5 is less than 10? Or would it be 10 is less than 5? And you would have to think about what it would be. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.